Did you ever have a boss or supervisor who acted like he was the boss from hell? I had this boss whose name was Bob Weisenheimer, and he acted like he was waiting for a sex change operation. Yeah, that's right. He acted like a little bitch. And he would always do his best to try and piss me off. But I never let him get the best of me, because I always pictured him wearing a skirt. One night I dreamt that Bob Weisenheimer died and was standing in front of the pearly gates waiting for St. Peter to open the gate. So St. Peter checks the good book, and after a few seconds he says, "I'm sorry, Mr. Weisenheimer, your name is not in the book." Mr. Weisenheimer, hearing the bad news, goes ballistic. "What do you mean I'm not in the good book? What, are you stupid and blind too?" St. Peter then calmly answers, Now, Mr. Weisenheimer, settle down. There's no reason to call me names." Bob Weisenheimer, now rudely interrupting, "Listen, St. Peter, there's got to be some kind of mistake. Can you check the book again?" St. Peter takes a second look in the book before answering, "No, Mr. Weisenheimer, you're not in the book." Now, Mr. Weisenheimer, he's fuming. And he says to St. Peter, "Why don't you ask God to let me in?" So St. Peter reluctantly goes back to talk to God, and he presents Mr. Weisenheimer's case. "Excuse me, God, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I've got this guy named Bob Weisenheimer at the pearly gates, and he's never done a good thing in his life and wants to enter into the kingdom of heaven." God then firmly tells St. Peter, "No, you can't let him through the gate." So St. Peter, he goes back to talk to Bob Weisenheimer and give him the bad news. "I'm sorry, Mr. Weisenheimer. You've never done a good thing in your life. There's no way we can let you in." Mr. Weisenheimer thinks about it for a while and says, "Okay, listen, St. Peter." Going to his pocket, takes out $2 and hands it to St. Peter and says, "Here's $2. Now go back to God and see what you can do." So St. Peter, with the $2 in his hand, goes back to talk to God. "Excuse me, God, but I'm so sorry that I have to interrupt you again. This guy, Mr. Weisenheimer, he's never done a good thing in his life, and he tries to bribe us with $2 to let him into heaven." So God, the all-knowing one, thinks about it for a while and says, "St. Peter, give Mr. Weisenheimer back his $2 and tell him to go to hell." Crazy world, I'll tell you. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world.